Oh, good morning from the Chateau de Cologne. We are going to attempt, I'm saying that with a lot of hope, the ceiling in the bathroom, the bed and breakfast bathroom. It's horribly crooked. We have to really maneuver things, and we're using a new contraption. Is that the word? So let's hope it works, fingers crossed, and no rest for the wicked. Let's go, Stuart. So a little thing here we wanted to share. When Philip and Stephanie were here, we talked about the design of this room and choices, and they gave us some really good ideas. One thing that Philip said to us is that was originally the doorway. And we said, no, that can't be. And of course he was right. So that was actually the door. It was Baroque symmetry, so the doors were across from each other. And then eventually, when the addition was built in 1750, that didn't make any sense anymore. You needed a big wall to put your bed on. So that's this wall here. And so what I need to do, because what it is framed out in is wood, and that's what you see, it's these dark lines. I need to reattach the paper so that this is a uniform surface. Now, one dead giveaway for this is the paneling. As you can see, it's not the same. There is the seam. So this piece of paneling was over here, and this was the door opening. So it's absolutely right. So we're not going to reinstate the door where it was in 1640. We're leaving it as is, because for us, this makes more sense. But that's where it was, and I think it's really cool that he figured that out and immediately, and we didn't. Anyways, let's get on. Hello, and it's a beautiful morning here at the Chateau de Cologne. And I am here in the big bedroom because it's exciting. I figured out something yesterday that is actually really cool. So when you look at these walls, they're very, very brown. And whoever 120 years, 110, 120 years who put the wallpaper on had these huge overlaps, so sometimes up to an inch, which will see through. We hope that it wouldn't be visible with the masking paper, but I don't know yet. So I tried something yesterday, and I'm really excited because paper is made out of wood pulp. So I thought, okay, since this is wood and it went from bleached paper, reverted back to brown, I just used the sander and went over a seam, and it just is like sanding wood. It gets flat, so I'm really excited. I don't know how many seams that is, but it's really fast. And after that, we can do a bit more of restoring the woodwork, which, when I say a bit more, we haven't started. So let's go. It's a lot to do. Okay, so here is an update on a lot of things that are in the process of being done. I know for us, it doesn't feel like we're getting anywhere. We're progressing every single day, but sometimes it's a bit overwhelming. And right now we're in our future bathroom, because right now it is nothing. It has one waistline. That's it. But so right here, and this is going to be 100% bespoke. So nothing that is going to be in here is going to be purchasable at a home improvement store. And so both bathrooms will be completely bespoke, individually designed with antiques. And so it's really, really cool. And this is going to be a huge mirror with the wash basin will be here, the sink. Shower will be over there. Lots of space, lots of light. So this is really, really cool. And looking up, I need to fix the ceiling, and I'm not looking forward to doing that. But this is nothing compared to the ceiling we just did in the bed and breakfast bathroom, because that was, how would you describe that, Stuart?
Well, it was a challenge, and the one thing that we didn't show was that. So that was the first time that we had used that sort of a hoist lift.
Yes.
For the drywall, and I actually had to put that hoist together when it was delivered. So,
now the thing is, we thought about borrowing the one that Terry and Ash had, but that is an 8-hour drive, and at the current prices for fuel, it's really not cost effective. Renting it was for 2 days that we would rent it, we could buy it. So we figured we'd buy it. Tony and Jane can use it. Claire and John can use it. So it's really actually a good investment. So got that, and that made a huge difference in this room.
It did.
It was.
I can't even imagine putting that ceiling up without that equipment.
I think someone might have get murdered or gone to jail. It must probably be me, both cases. But yeah, so this is really exciting. We are not far from actually so we are deconstructing, reconstruct. So we are not far from actually starting the first building project most probably next week. Building projects, meaning it will get better finally. It's kind of annoying, and every day or 2 days you have more debris. Well, we have more debris, and it's
yeah, it's still at a stage where it's going to look a lot worse before it gets better.
Yes.
And by the way, people can see in the background here that Tony has started running all the water lines from the whole manifold thing. So
looks like
that's good progress.
He called that an anaconda because they are not quite as flexible as one would like. So it was quite a bit of a wrestling match. And by the way, when I was talking about antique mirror and whatever piece of furniture we have, that we need to take a road trip, Stu and I, to pick up a lot of items.
Right.
At I think it's 6 different locations around France where we have gotten some incredible deals on phenomenal antiques, which we will use in the bathrooms and in the big bed and breakfast room. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, that'll probably be one of our vlogs next week. Will probably be us picking up and showing all the things that we bought recently.
That would be great.
Yeah.
So we need to plan that. And
right.
Now we do have friends and who are also patrons coming today, and they will stay for quite a while, and they volunteered to help us, so that's really, really exciting. So, and you will see next week who that is. Now, can we just go and have a look at that ceiling?
Okay.
Let's do it. So here we are, that ceiling. You can still see how warped this is. And this is after we put in battens, meaning wood, long pieces of wood to level that out. There's no way you could make this ever straight unless you completely discard the original crown molding or coving, which you know us, we won't do. So it's here, it needs to be preserved. Going to be interesting, but as you can see, there are water lines coming through. The ceiling needs to be plastered. There was one really bad gap, which I did one coat, and I don't even think I filmed any of this because I wasn't quite sure how that turned out. It turned out to be great, so it's good. This is not that much work to plaster the ceiling. Sanding and all that, well, it's a couple of days because you have the drying period in between. But again, we are really making progress here. The bathtub has these beautiful, it's the original from the Chateau. This will be in the bed and breakfast bathroom. Stuart has this work cut out for him to gild those feet because they need to be gold. It's just has to be. We also have coming next week a huge surprise because we are going to get new windows in these two bathrooms that are exact replicas of the current windows. And they're made in oak, handmade, double glazed, so there will be no more draft where when you stand in front of the window your hair blows. That's not happening anymore. So that's really cool. There are, as you can see, there are toilets. I mean, they are this close to being functioning, but we need to do some work there first with the plasterboard or drywall. All of this is, again, completely bespoke. This is custom. We are repurposing things we have found at Bocans, and it's going to look absolutely amazing. I promise you this is going to be fantastic. So, what else, Stuart? Oh, we have the shower that goes in here as well. So this is going to be lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So
yeah, we've already picked tile and stuff too, which we'll share later for that too.
Yes, really fantastic tile. We have the wallpaper.
Wallpaper, yeah.
We have the paint, and the paint's going to be a little green. It's fantastic paint, and we have these beautiful colors, very relaxing, very calming, perfect for a Chateau bathroom. So, what did I forget? Oh, there will be a chandelier in the middle of the room. We have lighting for the shower, of course, and there will be sconces on the wall behind me next to the mirror. So, yes, oh, and before you say anything, so it's, my pet peeve is the first thing you see when you walk into a bathroom is a toilet. I find that so horrible, but we could not move this any other way. So, because unless we wanted to tear up the floors and the ceilings below, this was the only place the toilet could go. So, just so you know, there will be a wall here, so you will not see but it's going to be a pony wall. It might not be everyone's taste. It would not have been our wish, but this is what we need to do. So sometimes the Chateau demands what it demands.
Yeah, to do compromises on stuff.
Yes, you can't force the Chateau into the 21st century. These two rooms, this was built 1750, and the bed and breakfast room was built in 1640. So we have to adapt to the Chateau and not the other way around. So we're not going to force anything on here and tear up everything, because that just wouldn't be sensible. And it wouldn't be respectful to the past. So here we are. Yes, there is a toilet. It will not be visible. When you walk in, you won't see that there is a toilet. And that's important to me, and it might be important to some of you, because knowing some of the vlogs where that was an option, most people say, don't do that. And so we do, but it won't be visible. And now let's just quickly talk about the big bedroom, the major elephant in the room. How about that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is lovely. It's great to see, because this is the overlap that people did. And these walls are crooked. They bend all kind of ways, outwards, inwards. I mean, I can see this here. It's really difficult to put paper on properly, but I managed to do this perfectly in the Petit Salon, and it was a struggle, and it wasn't easy, but it's doable. So just to slap it on and say I'm done, we're not going to do this. So I started to sand these down. So because this is quite a big, because it's thick paper, this is quite a large ridge.
Right.
Now let me show you over there how that looks after I sand it. So here you can see this is after it's sanded. You can't feel it. Well, if you're very sensitive, maybe a hint. But what we're going to put on is masking paper or lining paper. So this is very, very thick. It's actually pretty stubborn. But once this is on, everything underneath will be preserved because we want to preserve the appliques for future generations to discover. So this is really great, and it's used a lot in Europe.
And it is actually a different width than a standard paper in order to cover up.
Yes.
That is its purpose, is to actually
Yes.
put on the walls to cover up things like this.
So a normal wallpaper roll is about this wide. So you don't have the same seams,
Right.
meaning it really covers everything up. But here, for example, we have 2 overlaps. I mean, come on, 2 here as well. So whoever put that on 100 some years ago was really not doing a particularly good job with that. But this is all going to be covered with this, and there is a huge surprise because we made a very big and quite expensive decision a couple of weeks back about how these walls will look. And that is actually for our patrons to find out next week, because we got a huge delivery and there's some prep work that needs to be done. But so our patron will know it next week. You unfortunately have to wait a little longer if you're not a patron, but this is going to be amazing. Now, the ceilings are in a weird gray. It's not gray, it's soot. Soot? Soot. I can never pronounce that correctly, so forgive me. But so it's soot because when the chimney was cleaned years back, one of the bricks was punctured, or the chimney was, the bricks was punctured. So when the fire in the Grand Salon was on, this room, well, you could have smoked bacon in here. And that's over because we have the wood burner in there with a steel liner. So there's no more smoke, which is great. But it's really fantastic. And I'm looking forward to finishing this. So the beam was quite a struggle to restore because it was a lot of flaking paint, a lot of cracks, but no sagging. That beam, I mean, that oak was most probably felled 450 years ago and then dried. So that is rock solid and it's great. Now we had water damage up here. Let me point at that. Up there, where that beam is a smaller beam, it's plaster, it's covered with plaster. And it really has some severe damage. And I have sanded it, I've worked with it, so nothing is moving up there anymore. It needs one more coat of plaster and then we can actually paint it. And now here's the thing, why don't we just take down the paper? And let me go to that corner, Stuart. So some of you might ask why we don't just take down this paper. We did that in the entrance hall. And so this needed to be fixed. This was it needs to be sanded one more time and then it will be plastered over a little so that it will be nice and smooth. The reason we don't take down the paper is because when we do this, it opens up the walls and it's like an hourglass. 400 years old, almost. We're almost at the 400-year point here. Hopefully we will still be alive to see the Chateau turning 400 years. But taking this off, it's a losing battle to plaster over.
Right, because the paper itself is basically holding the plaster in place at this point.
It's scary, isn't it? But now, see, there's nothing moving anymore. So it's really, I'm very, very pleased with this. This is all kind of us experimenting with things we've never learned. So we learn new skills almost every week, where things we never thought about that we would have to do having a chateau, because we did 2 full renovations for contemporary, mid-century modern, and now we're here, and the things that never would have occurred to us that we need to learn. Now, when it comes to the design of this room and the color choices, and we asked actually quite a few people. We had a long conversation with Terry and Ash in here that, no, we didn't film because it was private. It was us, going back and forth about what one could do, what we should do. We talked to Vivian and Stephanie and Philip. We talked to Jane. So it's this whole, and everyone had their opinion. So at the end, you pull a bit from each, and that gave us the ideas we needed. And I have a feeling that this room is going to be absolutely spectacular. Because we put in so much thought and we did not rush. We took our time, and sometimes we had these, as you know, we had the headboards, and we were completely certain that this would be our headboards, but they're not. So they're gone, and it's the color choices we thought we would have for this room, they're gone. So it's an evolution, and I'm really, really pleased with what we came up with. And the things we have had delivered in the last 2 weeks are very exciting, and you will see them in the next couple of weeks as well. And including the paint, including those things we got at auction. We've got some amazing finds. I mean, really things we've never seen at any auction. And I mean, traveling to, we will have to travel to Chateau that the entire contents were sold off, and we got lucky enough to find things there. Multiple auction houses. It's going to be a round trip. And
we'll need to very soon also go to Paris because we need to get fabrics for this room as well, don't we?
Well, it's fabrics, it's a headboard.
Right.
And it's 2 console tables that are original Louis XVI, which are quite rare, a pair, for the Grand Salon. So it's a lot we have to get accomplished and we have to do, but I think you're going to like it. And happy Friday. Thanks for watching, and we see you next Wednesday. Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, please use the like feature to let us know. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our Journey to the Chateau YouTube channel if you would like to see more. Once you've subscribed, you can tap the notification bell in order to ring it, which will allow you to receive all notifications from our channel. Thank you.